Oh my goodness. Y'all have me crying at the end of this episode.
She was running around the playground screaming, Ari's gonna die in the car.
Yeah.
Until someone's throw up in your mouth. I'm Josh.
Okay.
Liver's a wife. Liver's husband. That was bad. I said I was white.
Wait.
Okay. Welcome to the Everything Reproduction podcast, other known as Claudia with a Chance of Childbirth. My name's Charlie, and I'm on the show today.
I'm Janai. I'm also on the show today.
I'm Josh, and I'm on the show today as well.
Cool. So we're just interviewing the husbands to see, their experience with pregnancy, childbirth, and postpartum. So we're going to start with a birth quiz to surprise you guys and to hopefully embarrass you.
No, how you doing?
No.
Okay. I'm doing fine. Are you doing fine?
That's right.
I'm doing good.
Okay.
That's good. Okay. So how much does the cervix need to dilate for childbirth?
What kind of question?
No, that's 10 centimeters. Oh,
Good job. Anyone else have a different answer?
8.
8.
10
Are
centimeters.
you being serious, Janai?
I'm just kidding.
10 centimeters.
That's good. That was an easy first question just to ease you into it. Okay, so what is oxytocin and how does it help in labor?
Okay, so it keeps you calm. Your body releases it so that you can do what you got to do, which is push. Because if you're freaking out because of the cortisol that's raised in your body, then you're gonna tighten up. So the oxytocin actually releases to counteract the increased cortisol in your body.
That's a good answer. Anyone else have a different answer?
Isn't it like the oxytocin is the love, it's the love chemical? So like it releases feelings of it just makes you feel love.
Yeah.
And so it's important in that way.
Janai, what's your answer?
I was thinking it works like perk, like it chilled you out.
I think oxytocin's also
Because I heard oxy, and that's just what I.
oxytocin is a naturally produced chemical.
Yeah, I know.
I was actually thinking of Oxycontin.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's what I was saying.
Is that kind of spurs the high? Kind of oof.
Yeah, it actually does give a little bit of a high. Yeah.
That's what I was saying. That was what I said.
Well, you said something about tight, so
I was saying because you get stressed out because you're in so much pain,
right,
that your body won't be able to function unless your body counteracts that stress trauma mechanism, and it does that through Oxycontin.
Oxytocin.
Yeah, I'm just oxytocin.
My goodness. Okay, this is just a bonus question. Do you guys know how to help facilitate the release of oxytocin?
I don't.
I don't know. Any answer?
A massage?
Yes, that would do it.
Look at that, guys. Get on board.
No, the husband's presence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we're talking about.
I'm crying because I don't I don't know what this is great for me because I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm really sure that I'm right.
I'm trying to put pieces together. It's just not.
Is that basically right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I should maybe say the answer. Yeah, it's your body releases it. It can help you feel euphoric, and it does help counteract the pain, and it helps you feel comfortable and bonded. It also helps with breastfeeding, and it also stimulates contractions that are effective. So it's very important during labor, and the husband does have a big role in helping the wife produce it.
Wait, so what does produce oxytocin?
Making the wife feel comfortable and feeling loved. So yeah, massage, light touch, any sort of loving touch. Dim light.
There was a lot going on in the delivery room.
Yeah.
Especially leading up to the delivery, for us at least. So I feel like my touches were she either had no idea what was going on, so she was like, was that another person? Was that you? Or or she's like, please go away. Is that right?
That's good. Okay, I will continue the quiz. How long are contractions?
I feel like that depends. It could be a day.
Oh, no, I meant the duration of one contraction.
Oh, 5. Shoot.
It's 11 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's 5 minutes, right?
2 minutes.
One, a single contraction, just the contraction where she's feeling the pain. You're saying it's 2 minutes?
I feel like it's like
I think it's
2 to
30
5, right?
30 seconds at a time.
It's so it can vary. It can go from 30 seconds to like a minute and a half.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Might feel like 5 minutes though.
Yeah, I was like, it felt like forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes there's 5 minutes in between active
That's
labor.
what I'm thinking of.
So that's
5
probably
minutes in between.
Yeah.
What do you guys think a contraction feels like?
I think it's like maybe like a,
Like gas?
yeah, like it's like a big fart that you got to let out and it's like you can't have it, you know?
Dude, I literally had to call someone one time before I was preaching because I couldn't move. I was on my office floor. I couldn't move. It hurts so bad.
Yeah, it's like when you bring,
so bad.
Well, I started I had never had like gas in my chest before.
Yeah.
And I started feeling like bubbles when I would breathe out, and it scared the crap out of me. I thought I was like, "How is there something wrong with my lungs?"
So I don't know if this is helpful for men because we're not giving good information, but it is helpful for women to know what is going through dudes. Hey, it's because like it's like gas, right? It's like
Now, have you ever had food poisoning?
no.
I would say some of the earlier contractions are very similar to food poisoning contractions.
Well, we'll get too into that, but that's I've never heard that.
That's what I think, because usually women like compare it to cramps, and I don't really get cramps. So for me, it was like, oh, this feels like food poisoning. So, yeah. Anyways. Okay, you learned something. See? All right, so what are some good labor positions? You get extra brownie points if you show them.
What do you mean it like?
We're not shooting in. Guys, telling a labor. Can I be the exercise? I want him to be the exercise ball. We can demonstrate.
So in what, are we in the labor room or are we prepping for labor?
This is just like if your wife's in labor. I'm not talking about getting birth. Yeah, in labor.
Okay.
I mean, literally.
Yeah.
I think the one where it's kind of like, where it just gets like.
What with sitting down?
I'm
No.
talking about
Gary, no. You made a noise, and it did that. What would I have deduced from?
The I call it the egg laying position.
egg-laying position. So I'm talking about like labor, not pushing out the baby. Okay.
Egg leg.
You tried. That was good. That was good. Anyone else?
So the exercise ball is they roll out that big yellow exercise ball, or it kind of looks like maybe kind of like a hobby horse thing. I don't know. Let's go with the exercise ball because that's what it happened really fast. But the exercise ball comes out and they're like, hug it. But the ball is sort of like this weird, like semi-equine shape.
A peanut ball?
Yes, the peanut ball.
Look, are we talking about the labor? Like she's in labor now, right?
Yes, labor.
Your wife had a peanut ball?
Yeah. What? It's an option.
We were going to have her in water, but she gave birth before they could.
In water? What kind of
Water birth.
Yeah. That's what you do for a home birth.
Wow.
So
They're good. Actually, technically, I was going to labor in the water. I wasn't allowed to give birth in the water because in hospitals, you usually can't.
Oh, interesting.
But I'm talking about labor positions. You could have just stood up,
Your side.
and that would have been a labor position.
On your side.
By the way. On your side.
People have birth standing up.
I'm not talking about giving birth. I'm talking about labor.
I'm talking about pushing.
No, we're not talking about
What is
pushing.
labor then?
Labor.
I'm confused.
Labor is like beginning of contractions. Like
During the contraction.
You only know that because you're married to her.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, so contractions. What are good positions whenever you're having
On your
contractions?
side for sure.
Yeah, on your side. Basically anything other than like laying on your butt.
Lying back. You don't.
Yeah, I was thinking about like toilet position. Is that a
yeah.
position?
That's great. Sitting on the
I
toilet.
can't think of anything.
Yeah, they actually call it dilation station. Sitting on the toilet.
That reminds me that my wife gets really mad at me when I call giving birth going number 3. Yeah. She hates it.
What's the first two options?
She doesn't like it. Nobody I've told really likes it. I like it. Yeah, I think that's funny.
it's good.
Well-
Charlie. It's good.
This is from our perspective, by the way.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Okay.
Also, that is completely aside. Never joke with your wife about the sacred nature of birth while it's happening.
Okay, well, cool. We can. The quiz is over.
Oh, okay.
I don't really know who won.
I don't think anybody won.
No one won. It was just funny. We all won.
I think.
Okay, so first question: did seeing your wife go through labor change your view of her in any way?
She's a tank, dude. And she's like 5 foot nothing. There's a lot of tank in a little body. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right.
I feel like it, I feel like going through that process, because I know working up to it, especially since this was our first baby, like it was super scary. I guess it's super scary for every woman, but it's kind of like, oh my goodness, they say, this is where you should probably stay off the internet. It's like they say this is the closest you're going to be to death and stuff like that. It's like, well.
Do you remember when Ray Lewis used to come out? And it was like primal, raw.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's why the husband started.
Yeah.
He's a football player to the best linebacker in NFL history.
Right.
And it was like, he just came out and he was alive. And it's cool because you see your wife like locked into this like kind of primal like strength. And you're like, I don't know what that is. I've never seen that in my life, ever. That's what it feels like. It feels like a Ray Lewis YouTube like compilation.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's coming out of the tunnel.
Yeah, it made me respect you a lot because, I don't know, I see your love for pregnancy and I see your love for childbirth and then I see how hard it is. But also, compared to your first birth, I could just tell that you knew what you were doing. It's kind of crazy with the second one. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for being like super endearing and like kind and sweet. And we're over here talking about the toilet position. She probably feels really bad, but I do.
Yes, we gotta switch it up.
No, that's fine. That was good. Okay. I want to talk about like your perspective on like the pregnancy, the birth, having a newborn. So you can kind of touch on all of them.
Pregnancy, birth, and having a newborn.
Yeah, just like the whole process.
I think the process of giving birth was definitely the most eye-opening part for me. And the second most eye-opening part is whenever the baby's actually in your hands and they start pooping out like very dark goo. And it's just like, what is that? You're just learning all this stuff. I was like, I think something's wrong with my baby. It's like, no, every baby comes out and their, boo-boo looks weird and stuff like that. And then you have that weird umbilical cord. It's
like blue.
It turned something primal on in me too.
He
was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but
I'm not
like I pulled Leif out. Hold on, Josh, just one.
Oh no, let him finish.
Like I delivered Leif, and he came out at like 5 pounds. And so he was really small and fragile and vulnerable. And immediately you're just like, whatever protection mode thing that dads are supposed to do, like just kicks in. So I was kind of being like kind of gnarly in the hospital. I mean, for like kind of like bumping his little cart on accident. I'd be like, what are you doing? That's my son. Like, it's weird. So like you have to hone that in and like channel that into something like godly and not just like, yeah, but it was like really new. And so I think and looking at your wife, like you're like, I didn't know you were capable of that. And then you feel that way every day, like the entire journey, like from day 1 to day 30, you're like, how are you still doing this? Like, because let's be honest, like they're doing all of it.
Yeah.
Like we're just helping. We're like, go get the bottle. Like, all right, I can do that. Go warm it up. So like you didn't even realize how strong your wife is and how strong God created your wife.
Yeah.
But then like something about parenthood like ignites something really true about your femininity and masculinity as people, and I experienced that.
Yeah. I'm not sure if this is just me or if this is guys in general, but like I know for pregnancy, the thought that like we're gonna have a baby soon wasn't really that present in my mind throughout the 9 months. I know that it was much more present in Lydia's mind throughout the 9 months because she was actually carrying the baby. But for me, like, it didn't really fully hit in an emotional way, at least, until like I held the baby in my arms. And that was like a profound moment for me. I'm like, wow, I'm a father. But up until that point, I don't know, the pregnancy was just a little harder for me to connect. As like, it just didn't fully process in my mind. When she was able to start like looking at me and smiling and then like saying words, especially with April, when she was able to like actually talk with me and interact, that's when I don't know, that's when I just started getting connected to her more. And because for the first while, it's like they only want mom. They're with mom all the time. Sometimes I just felt like, am I even needed here? Like, there's nothing really for me to do. But then as time has gone on, they've been much more attached to me.
Let me tell you, in the newborn stage, Dad definitely needed to be there. So I don't know how my wife feel about this, but she was about to lose her mind the first month and a half. It's like because obviously you're feeding and then X, Y, Z, and you're like feeding the baby every hour or so. So it's just constant. And then you got night feeding, and that's tough because she's trying to get sleep too. And I remember like my, obviously Gigi, she did not want to sleep in her bassinet. And the only place she was sleeping is literally on my chest.
Yeah.
And so that was interesting because you got to be really still. You got to be cognitive of like the fact that there's a human on you. And then whenever Gigi would get hungry, she would kind of like crawl up and start nibbling on my on my neck, and I'll be like, "What is going on?" Because I'm like sleep, but I'm also half sleep. So I'm like, what is? And I'm like, Tara,
She's rooting around.
get your child. She's eating me. And so she had a little carnivore stage, but then also for pregnancy, I think I was a bit different. So like through the whole pregnancy, I'm over here talking to like, my wife's big old belly and stuff like that, and feeling the child and things of that nature. It's going to be interesting how it works with the second child, because be like, oh, I've seen that already, and then you're probably going to get slapped. Be like, okay, see it again.
And that's what pregnancy feels like the second time. Like, it feels like it's not as like, well, we're gonna have a baby.
Yeah,
Because you're gonna have a baby, you know what's gonna happen. So you're more like, well, you'll get waves of it. You're like, more so logistics wise for me at least. With 2 kids, you're like, what is that going to look like? It's versus just like, we're going to have 2 children. It's like, well, I think that'll be a transition again, and
I almost interrupted you again.
no, it's fine.
Fine.
That happens on podcasts sometimes. Can we stop stretching?
I was going to say, the middle child stereotype is a thing for a reason.
Well, it's hard to like, I think the second time around, it's hard to think about anything but like the reality of what things are going to be like with more kids.
Yeah.
Because it goes without saying that you're really excited to receive that gift from the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just gonna, what the challenge looks like, but you don't. There's still an unknown because you don't know what it's gonna look like with your, remaining child.
Yeah, I think you also have to be gracious with yourself, because it's like if you're on your second child, you're probably focused on your like already born child. Yeah.
Well, you don't even realize like when you don't have kids yet, and then you like have this screaming like sweet potato, and you're like, because what Josh said is true for men. Like, you see a baby and you're like, I love this child so much. Also, this is a crazy looking organism. Right?
I would die, like, I've always felt like I would die for my children. I would die for my children.
Day one.
That does not change the fact that for the first couple months, like, I just had a hard time connecting.
You're just
like,
good. I don't know what
that's
to do with you. Like, I certainly can't feed you.
Well, I was saying with the grace thing, like, yeah, it's, especially if you're having your second while your first is like a toddler, it's like that's already a really busy time. So it also makes sense if like you struggle with the excitement, that too,
Yeah.
Okay, what are some ways that you were able to support your wife either through pregnancy, birth, labor, newborn? I know you already kind of mentioned some, but
let me tell you something. You know what I hate the most during pregnancy? It's that stupid bed pillow thing. It makes you feel all alone and on an island. It was like, what is this divider between us?
Can I be honest with you?
Mm-hmm.
I create it. I make it happen. Because the pregnancy comes with snoring in our house. So I build a little fort wall. That sounds bad. We're just being real. I actually have the same experience but different conclusion.
You like the pregnancy pillow?
I like being able to sleep.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, like, I guess snoring is like a thing in the third trimester. Like, it just becomes hard to breathe. Like, poor girls. Like, so it's not like a combination thing. It's just,
Yeah.
I need to go to sleep.
So what I actually did was took that divider between us and then shared it with us. The whole... It means
sharing it with us.
Yeah. It's like, you know the long part that's supposed to go in between the woman's leg?
Yeah.
There's different types of pregnancy pillows.
Oh, okay. So
But,
the one I'm thinking about, it goes like this.
Okay, yeah.
That's the deluxe one, bro. I'm balling out.
I'm just saying. So I took that part. So it's basically like a pillow. I was like, yeah, no, man. So we used a regular pillow for the little.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Did you actually know like the pregnancy pillow?
It's just it was so bulky, it was so big. I felt like I had no room in my bed,
Yeah.
and that was annoying. But I definitely was in context. It was completely fine because you were pregnant and I wasn't.
Yeah. Good times.
This is really weird, like, because you need support too as a dad.
Yeah, we had
You don't always like need to go to your wife for that, especially when they're pregnant and like not doing great. Like, you need to be there for them more than they are for you, obviously. That even goes into the newborn phase and really all of life, obviously, if we have a biblical worldview. Like, you should be the anchor of your house, like as a man of God. Which does not mean you don't share your emotional burdens with your wife, but you need more than just to like constantly be burdening your wife with your stuff when she's literally creating life and sustaining it outside the womb. So, that being said, I think the biggest thing is knowing how to do that in healthy ways. So,
I know I definitely did it in the delivery room because we had a kind of interesting challenge in delivery, and I was so prepared to go like kind of like cry for my first child. I did not get a chance to do that because I had to like be strong because Tara was going through that whole delivery, and I was like, oh man, like I want to cry. And then once all this stuff was done, I didn't even have any more tears. I was like, geez, I was like, come on, guys. So it's like, nah, it's all good. So I did not, but I did cry whenever we found out. Whenever found out that Tara was pregnant.
did you guys' knees go weak?
Wait, what?
Like when you found out, like you were excited, but it's so like earth shattering that you're like, whoa.
No, it didn't. I was actually sitting down when Lydia gave birth to Ava.
No.
Wait, what was your
when you found out that you guys were pregnant?
No, I think I just said cool.
Well, because I always tell them like ahead
For
of
the
time.
first
I'm like, I'm probably going to
For
be
the first
pregnant.
For the first time, like we knew that she was probably going to be pregnant.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of like...
Yeah, we had a lot of
did-
time to process.
When we found out that she was pregnant, it wasn't like a huge shock.
So they'll say it was a surprise for us because it happened quickly and we weren't expecting it to really. Oh, and we're obviously really excited, but
Yeah.
I didn't sleep that night. I literally the night we found out,
Oh, wow.
I didn't sleep. I was just thinking.
We did
They're like,
kind of stay up a little bit just talking about it. So we cried a little bit because it was obviously like very amazing. And then we like just talked about like, oh my goodness, we're about to be parents. And it was just kind of like, what is that going to look like? X, Y, and Z. So we had that point, even though we were clearly, obviously we was trying stuff like that, but it was still kind of like, wow, it's actually about to start. So yeah.
Okay. I'm kind of curious. specifically for labor, what are some ways that either you did support her or you feel like in the future you would want to support her?
I think for me, I wasn't as good the first birth as I was the second birth. Now for the first birth, I don't know. It was just we were in a hospital.
There were a lot of people.
There was a lot of people in the room, and it was just like it takes like the intimacy of that type of moment out of the equation. And so
I was saying I didn't know they could be.
Who?
I thought it was like you and your spouse or one support person.
no, like there was just a lot of people, like doctors and
No, I just mean like visitors.
staff. No, my mom was in the room. Was your mom in the room?
So we even had it rotating. I had my friend Abby in the room, and then my mom and his mom would rotate.
Yeah. So
He's so stressed out.
Yeah,
my
we didn't.
room, and
We weren't
my
thinking about it.
mom, my mother-in-law, and my mom in the room, and it was just like, for me, that was just a little overwhelming. It was a little more. I was a little more just quiet during that break,
And I feel like you probably
and we were in the hospital for how long?
overreacting.
With Ava, not long.
We were in the hospital.
We got in at 1 a.m. and I gave birth the following day at 2 p.m.
Yeah. So
That was,
I was in there sleeping for a while.
Yeah, it was the middle of the
It
night.
was in the middle of the night.
And like to be fair, so slept for a little bit because I had an epidural.
Second birth, we prepared, and it was like low lighting, really, really nice, and I knew what to do. So like it was just like verbal affirmation, like, "Hey, you're doing really good. Like you're strong. I'm proud of you," and those types of things, and then just like gentle touches and stuff like that.
Can I throw shade at a local hospital?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, do
I
it.
speak general is the worst hospital this period. So Liv had preeclampsia. So we came in at 3 p.m. and they said, we're going to induce your blood pressure's to the roof. We're going to put you on magnesium. So they like put her on magnesium, and she's just like, what you are on magnesium, which is like stoned. Like you have a fever and you're stoned. It's the worst. It's like a fever dream. So I'm having to process all this. I'm praying, and they leave us in the exam room, not the delivery room, not like a birth room, the exam room. They leave us in the exam room for 8 hours.
That's crazy.
8 hours.
Yeah.
No cushy, no dad chair, just regular chair, and a scared wife for 8 hours. And then they finally put you in the suite, and we just clonked out. Like I think she was in labor at that point, and we still just like clonked out.
Yeah.
We were so tired.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know what it'll be like now, because hopefully that won't be the case.
To be fair, Chesapeake Regional apparently has gotten better. It's very dependent on which practice you're with them. So there's some practices that are like really, really terrible. I think there's like a couple practices there that are.
Dude, so you're like throwing back to the linebacker picture. As a dad, after your wife gives birth, you are like, well, actually, it'd be the opposite side of the ball. You're like the left tackle. Like you're like the left guard. Like, so like nurses are just coming in and they're like, "Hey, how you doing, mama?" And you're like, "Get out." Like you were in here 15 minutes ago, and this can wait. My wife's gonna freaking die if she doesn't sleep. So like, it's crazy. Like it's crazy. And then they want to take your kid and they're like, "We're just gonna like give him this shot." And you're like, "You're not gonna do anything." So it's like, you're totally like an offensive lineman for your family in that room.
I do think I really don't like when I appreciate the nurses like checking in and stuff. What I don't like when they just like take your baby.
No, it's crazy.
It is crazy.
If you do that anywhere else at a hospital, I'm gonna lose my mind. But by the end of that experience, I was losing my mind because they kept like walking out with him, or like coming in and like fiddling with her, but they weren't telling us what they were doing. They were just doing stuff.
Yeah.
And
some hospitals have like more outdated practices where they still try to like take the baby a lot. Like nowadays, I think like a lot of practices are trying to move forward to like having the mom be with the baby after the birth for like as long as possible.
But yeah, I feel like they never went, well, for us, they never took, like the baby was always, if it wasn't with me or Tara, it was in the, what's it called?
Warmer.
The warmer. Is that what it's called? I think it's called like the crib, whatever thing.
Well,
the bathroom.
Yeah,
bathroom. Yeah.
Borderline NICU. Like he didn't ever go up there per se. But like the nurses were coming in and just trying to have full-fledged conversations with Liv after 8 hours of labor, and she's like, no. And they're like, "So where are you at? Like, what are you doing?" And then like the baby's just leaving as someone's like talking to my wife or she's like asleep. I'm like, does anyone know what's going on? Like, am I the only person here who thinks this is crazy?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because, like, actually, as the dad, a huge role you have, like, during labor is to advocate for your wife. Because, like, ideally, she wouldn't have to.
I was like seconds away from fist fighting nurses. It was crazy.
Now, I would say
Pay to watch.
in the delivery part, because again, our delivery was hectic. The post delivery, it kind of chilled out. But in the delivery, there was kind of like a lot of nurses, whatever the case may be. My wife's, I think the baby and or my wife's like heartbeat was going up or whatever the case may be. And so the nurses won't tell you, obviously, what they're, and I understand their perspective. They're kind of like, I don't want you to freak out and then make everything worse, things of that nature. But at the same time, they're very horrible of like not showing it on their face.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like, it was like, I'm like to Charlie's point, I'm like, is everything cool? It's like, oh yeah. It's like, no. And then they turn her around and be like, all right, we need to check this. And then X, Y, Z. I'm like, okay, so clearly, so I would ask questions and to, see what everything is. So like, I'm looking at the monitor and I'm looking at the baby monitor and all this other stuff. And I'm trying to keep her calm and focus on me so that she doesn't focus on, because I'm like, I appreciate the doctors, but they really have to look at how they look. Like, I think there was only one person that looked calm. Everybody else was like on the verge of like thinking that, well, we may have to roll her out to like the C-section.
This is literally bringing back memories now.
Yeah.
The doctor or then one of the nurses looked at me after she gave birth. They put her in another room. And she looked at, she was doing a bunch of unnecessary things and then not leaving. Like, she was like kind of staying there talking. Liv was stable too. She was stable. But they had left the epidural port in her back for like 8 hours. So it's like they weren't addressing the elephant in the room where she has a gaping hole in her back still. But then I was like, basically at some point I was like, can you take that out and then can you let her sleep? Like, she's stable. And you've already said that. And then the nurse just blurts out, she's very sick. And I was like, oh, you guys did stop yelling at me. I have not slept. This is precarious. But that's literally what she said, bedside. Like, she was like, he's sick. And Liv's like, magnesium out. I'm like, I would be too if I had enough magnesium in my system to, like, kill an elephant. Like, so it's crazy. It's like, I don't know what it is about, like, and they're not like novice nurses either. They've been there.
I will say our first birth, the nurses were not good. Second birth, nurses were great. And after Lydia gave birth, they did do that whole thing where they started like frantically doing it. And I kind of got like a little like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Is everything okay? And I asked the nurse, I was like, is everything all right? And her answers were so vague that it scared me. She was like, she's bleeding a lot. And I was like, okay, is she bleeding like more than she should be? And they were like, yes. And I was
They
like,
said that?
yes. And I was like, so what could happen? And they were like, well, if we don't get this under control, it could lead to significant blood loss. And I was like, it just freaks me out. I was like, wait, because it was like vague enough to like, okay, is this serious or is this not serious? And they wouldn't really give me a straight answer. And then they put you on a drug, actually.
They gave me 3 doses of Cytotec all at once orally. And literally
They screwed her up.
that was the worst part. I felt like I was dying. I was like, please bring me back to labor. And I was like, this sucks.
The whole thing was great. She did natural, no like anything. And then when they gave her the Cytotec at the end, she got like really sick.
Yeah, I literally couldn't respond to anyone. They're like trying to give me cranberry juice, and I was like, I was about to pass out. I thought I was dying.
It's crazy. It's like, yay, medicine. Like,
I'm like so annoyed about it
it's
because
crazy.
I checked later on my notes, and like my blood loss was like a little more than normal, but like I would have been fine with that amount of blood loss.
I think they kind of divide and conquered us because they had me deliver him, and then they're like, come with us. Like, come with him. And then she's over to just like, yeah. So like, I can't ask questions. That I'm over. The whole thing felt weird. Like, it was like details like come up in retrospect, and you're like,
I know. Trust me, that
who decided that was a good idea? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, you're also sleep deprived, which doesn't help.
I would say for the guy, if you're with your wife or significant other, but kind of read the room and read the doctors, what they're kind of saying. If you can kind of read behind what they're just telling you, because sometimes, like, you're right, they're going to be super vague,
Right.
but sometimes that's kind of like a piece to a puzzle.
Yeah.
For you to figure out, okay, you need to be with her and start to comfort her a little bit, kind of get her emotions in check, whatever the case may be. Or just kind of, communicate with them. Maybe you have to like step aside, be like, all right, explain this. Because I want to be in the know. Like if my wife was literally dying, like I would want to know so that I can not make the situation worse, but like at least be there a little bit. And if she's going to be okay, like, let me know, because I'm kind of freaking out. So
You have to find a doctor or the nurse in the room that seems like they're on your side, or at least is like communicative and advocate, so that you have an advocate on the other side. But that's a big role for parents, especially the greatest threat to your child's health, as far as like unwanted medical procedures, is 0 to 3 years old. They will try to pressure you into giving medicine to your children that you may not want them to. And as a dad, you need to take control of your family's health and be willing to not let the sort of authoritative figure of a doctor. And again, like we had our birth in the hospital. We don't distrust modern medicine, but like on things that are controversial, we're not going to just like kowtow to whatever someone tells us to do if we have a conviction against it. So
Yeah, I think a huge way to navigate that, or a huge thing to understand, is that your doctors are making decisions based on their analysis of risks, which are based on their values. So like if you have differing values in them, which you probably do, and then you might see the risk and you might be willing to take that risk based on your own values. But like your doctor is pushing things because of his values and his risk assessment. So it's like, or her, I guess.
Yeah, that's what are examples of that.
Well, for fetal heart rate monitoring, like when they monitor your baby's heart rate, some people might want to do that because in case something is wrong with their baby, they think that knowing the heart rate is going to help them to do like an emergency C-section or something. But there's studies that show that it does, like whether you have one or not, it doesn't change the amount of like negative outcomes, but what it does change is it changes the C-section rate. So the C-section rate goes up higher if you have consistent like fetal monitoring, because you're more likely to notice your baby's heart decelerating and freak out about it, and it actually might be fine. And like sometimes it's not fine, but there's like babies are really, really resilient. And like sometimes it's almost better to not know. Mm-hmm. But that's a risk each parent would have to take. Like if you have a past, or if you have like a past of loss, like it would be really scary to take that risk. Like you might want to, like you might prefer a C-section than the slightest risk of your baby like not being okay. So it's really just like what your values are and what your priorities are.
Interesting.
Yeah. But if a doctor's telling you, oh my goodness, your baby's going to die, get a C-section, of course you're going to get a C-section. Because you're not, like, yeah, I don't know. Right. Yeah. Anyways, that kind of...
I think, the whole process really is, especially birth specifically, the hospital experience specifically, for, I think, a dad or for a man is generally, not for everybody, but I think generally is like the first experience that you'll have that forces you to take ownership and leadership and direction and protection over your unit directly. Because up until that point, she's working with her doctor and, your whole married life, you kind of have been operating through that. But it's a very vulnerable spot. So it's really your first, I think, at least in my experience, was that first moment of like, this is my family. Like, and that protection, like I said at the beginning, kind of joking, but that protection kicks in. That's a really good thing. And anyone who says it's not, or says like you should just let your baby like be in the hands of strangers that you don't trust or know what they're doing, like that's crazy. I mean, I don't, again, not anti-medicine, but I want to know what you're doing. explain the process, explain the risks.
Especially when the doctor's been working very long shifts, right? Like,
Yeah.
they're human, just like everybody else. So, like, they're probably going to feel like, oh, let me just... You probably don't realize that they may be wanting you to get a C-section so they can go home and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know,
Doctors like that.
and, you know,
15 C-sections the night we were in there. That's why we were in that room for so long. I was like, did they all do C-sections? But that's true. There's so many factors like that where people are like, well, they're doctors. It's like, yes. And they're human.
There's liability issues too.
Yeah.
Where like even with the external like fetal heart rate monitor, like part of the reason they want you to have that is so that they have like a physical evidence of how things were going.
Yeah.
So that like anything they do was therefore like warranted or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like there's just so much to it that it's so important to like have education and have like informed consent. And there's actually at every hospital, there's a patient advocate. So you could even ask for like, can I see the patient advocate? And they can come in and like make sure that the doctors aren't like pushing you in.
Why don't they tell you that?
I know, right? They don't.
And get the patient advocate unless the people who you need the patient advocate for tell you there's a patient advocate.
Yeah, that's why I'm telling you. That's why I'm saying it on the podcast so people know there's a patient advocate. Yeah. Cool. Let's see. Oh, okay. This will be good. Where are some ways that you feel like you fell short in the pregnancy, birth, postpartum?
Wow. Yes.
and I know, I feel like this is Josh's confession.
Oh no, you don't have to. You don't have to.
He starts rapping.
I'll just drop a link to my next song in here. You can listen to it. All the ways I screw up my life. I'm just kidding. But no, I think it's really easy. When I get stressed, I detach. When I get stressed, I isolate. And so, like, if there's just a lot going on, then, like, it's easy for me to... and the areas that I fall short in specifically would be not paying enough attention to her needs. So it's something that I just have to be... It's just something that I have to be, like, cognizant of and consistent of, because that's... and aware of, because that's the tendency that I have if I'm not taking guard of where I'm at. So I just need to, like, I just have a tendency to not be attentive to her needs.
Are you talking about Lydia?
Yes.
There's 3 options for that.
Yes. Attentive to her needs, like during the recovery process after birth and pregnancy and stuff. Like, it's just easy for me to not be thinking about the added stress that's on her body and just like the added things that like she's going through. And it's easy for me to just think about us living life normally and not take that whole other aspect into consideration.
Yeah.
And so that's just something that, again, I need to keep track of during that pregnancy, making sure that I'm staying on top of being supportive of her. It's easy for me to just be consumed by myself.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
I think you do a good job.
Yeah, he's great dad.
Yeah.
Awesome dad.
Oh, thank you.
And you're helpful. Yeah.
I feel like that pre-pregnancy and even with the postpartum period, it's all so fuzzy to me right now. So I think the safe answer is tend to her needs more. Probably is where I probably fell short. But I honestly I don't have any like stories right now because it's all just
I think
a blur.
Your brain kind of blocks it out because it's so like gnarly.
Yeah, it's kind of like with trauma, you know.
You're like, how?
Or I think it's the sleep deprivation.
It probably is that too.
Yeah.
Like you're like half a human.
Charlie, you weren't even trying to get sleep. I came over and you were playing Assassin's Creed.
We had a system. We had a system. We had a system. So I would...
No, I'm not.
Because you're bottle feeding. So I would be up from... Not up, but if I wanted to be up, I was responsible for getting up with him from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. And then I would sleep from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. So each of us would get 6 hours each night, no matter what.
And that's good.
But being a new dad makes you feel like such a loser, because you just realize you're just selfish and dumb, and so like your wife just like pushed your child out of her body, and you're like, can I go surfing? Like you're just like such an idiot. Like So, like, it just uncovers your selfishness because, like, you didn't have to do anything then. You really don't have as much to do now until, like, you realize, like, you're just being kind of stinky in your attitude. You're being a stinker. And you're like, I have the better end of this deal. So I'm just going to, like, put to death whatever this is in my sinful nature. And so I think that was a big thing where I feel like you just like it's such a quick change where you are not your own. And that's already true for us in Christ. You're not your own already, but you're really not your own anymore on some really practical levels. And then I think as well, just like the dad frustration, like, you guys are so good with the crying and all of it. And I just felt like there were times I would literally look and tell you, like, he just wouldn't stop. And you're like, oh, I can't do it anymore. And I'll go upstairs with him. And I put him in the bassinet. And I'm just like, he's yours. I got to go to bed. And, she's like, okay. Like, that wasn't the deal. Like, figure it out. Like, so it kind of makes you feel like a weenie. Like, because you're like, she's such a tank and she's so strong and, like perseveres. And I'm like, I didn't get my 6 hours, so I'm, so I think it just reveals your selfishness and actually how God's designed us for certain kinds of strength as men and women. And to this day, like with toddlers, like, I think women are just better with kids under 5. Like, for sure, I love playing with my son, and it's awesome. But there's say today I was like, I need to come here early because I just need it. I can't do any more yelling right now.
I can't imagine if the roles were reversed and Lydia was working full time and I was a stay-at-home dad. I would lose my mind.
Who is it? What's his name? He's like the John Crist guy, but he's the other John Crist guy.
Trey
Kennedy. He said, like, if dudes had to give birth, like, no, there would be any more people because you have to give up, like, deli meat and beer for 9 months. Yeah, freaking right.
It's women are strong in a whole different sense of the word. Yeah, like the patience and the emotional intelligence or emotional depth that they have to be able to nurture and take care of children. It's not that men can't do it. I'm not saying that. Like, we love our children and I love my kids. I love spending time with them. I love being with them. But my capacity for taking the crying, my capacity for taking the screaming and just it's much smaller than yours.
Thanks.
No, I was literally told it today. I was like, you're such a great mom. I don't know how you...
Yeah, totally do that all the time. It's like sometimes I'm just like, okay, sorry, and I have to go out for a few minutes and say, I just get in my car and just drive 3 miles and I come back. Yeah. Just because it's
it's pretty funny. I think I was telling Charlie this the other day, but it's always funny when I'm in a group of moms and dads and all the moms are holding their babies that are screaming and crying, and we're having a full uninterrupted conversation. We're all able to focus and process everything, and then the husbands are like, I can't focus. They're just freaking out.
It's a response.
Yeah, the moms are able to I'm able, if I logically want to, I can completely zone out my kids whining and crying and continue talking about what I'm talking about. And I see that Josh can't do that. Most the husbands I see cannot do that.
You see the gaps, the unfortunate nature of a central world where some people don't have the benefit of having both parents in the house.
Yeah.
So kids who don't grow up with a dad, they lack discipline, they lack structure. Oftentimes they often lack. And this is very generalized, obviously, but having a masculine figure, especially for boys, to discipline and for girls, obviously, a masculine figure to cherish them and to protect them and to show them what a man is. You see that whole, but then you also see it acutely with a mother. There is a tenderness that a mom has for a child that I think cultivates emotional depth in kids and connection and fosters attachment in healthy ways. And you see both of those realities.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I was gonna say with Josh, even though I guess like I can tolerate them for longer, definitely there's a point where my patience is like kaput, you know, and it's like I have no strength in me to like try to discipline. And I know if I do try to like discipline, it's just going to be like me being angry and bitter and impatient, which is like, that's not helpful. So I definitely, it's so hard when Josh is out of town. I'm like, oh my goodness, I can tell my kids like don't want to listen to me because they know that Josh is like the one that's like actually good at disciplining in a gentle way. Whereas for me, I feel like I'm always like really impatient in the way I do it.
I think it's the fact that I have girls. It's hard to discipline like a girl. Like I just love her so much, and I know that discipline is important like for a girl, but like it's just like I don't know. I cushion my discipline with like I love you a lot. This is what you're doing wrong, and then I'm very like stern and I'm firm with her.
Yeah.
That this is not okay, and we do whatever consequence, and then afterwards it's like, hey, like I love you a lot, and this is the gospel pretty much. You're part of our family. You're loved, and no matter what you do, I'm always gonna love you. But then like, hey, this is sin. This is not okay. You need to stop it. You're going to bed early tonight or something like that.
I thought he was about to say you're going to hell. The same
dog. He is 3 years old.
Oh my goodness.
That's an interesting point though, because I think like with a boy toddler, it's like you see your boy toddler slap your wife in the face, and you're like, that's my wife.
Left on that.
Yeah. That's
You learned it from Ava, from Ava pushing him down.
Say it. No, sorry. I'm totally joking. No, but that sort of boy dynamic is interesting because they're so like destructive, and they get in these modes where they're just like, I'm gonna headbutt you and then slap you and then throw something into the wall and then throw myself on the floor, and you're like, wow, like Jesus, thank you so much for the fruit of the Spirit that I hope is flowing right now. But I think that dynamic's interesting. And even like what you're saying, like I think that's a difficulty with small children. Like where's that line between like calling them to repentance, like gospel issue, and then it's just like you don't know how the world works, so we have to train you. So I think that's the line. I would say he's like 2. So it's like we're not talking like calling him to repentance. He's just like, so it's training. Like but at the same time, like from a very early age, you don't want them to be like in that cycle of guilt.
I treat my child as she's saved. Yeah. We talk about Jesus and faith in Jesus. Yeah. That if you have faith in Jesus, you go to heaven. And I brought up hell for the first time, last week, actually.
She was telling me about it.
Yeah, I brought up hell for the first time, and I act as if she's saved because I believe that the Lord can give faith to little children. Yeah, but yeah, I just explained to her, and she was asking me questions about it like all night. But I was like, no, like we have faith in Jesus. See if, and then I always ask her like, do you want to have faith in Jesus? And she's always yeah. And so I don't know, that just makes me smile. Like that like warms my heart so much.
Yeah. She was so cute. It was funny because I came home later that night and Ava's suddenly like, oh, Mom, do you know about L? And I was like, L? And she's like, oh, it's actually hell. And I was like, oh, okay. And then she starts telling me all this stuff and it's all like so theologically sound. I was like, what? Josh must have been talking with her about this earlier today.
She's just watching Arceus from my laptop by herself.
Yeah.
Can you, Josh, just for fun, can you tell the story of how Ava sings about Ari?
Oh my goodness. We do some stuff at the breakfast table and whatnot, and Ava will repeat stuff she hears. And so what was the song? I know the lyrics, but what song was she imitating? It would dance around the house singing like Ari's gonna die on the cross.
I don't think it was a song. It was one time because we told, she knows Jesus died on the cross. So I think at one point she was like, oh, this is a good thing. And so one time she said it like, Ari's going to die on the cross. And like, she saw the way we reacted. And even last week at Oak Grove, she was running around the playground screaming, Ari's going to die on the cross.
Yeah, I think you should probably no. Or do for somebody think she's part of some horror movie.
Oh my God. Told her, but it was just so. The first time she said it in the living room, she was like, "All right, bro."
Did she say something like I want to be like Jesus?
Yeah, but
She said, but it's okay because we're gonna go to heaven or something like that.
she's gonna be raised up. She's gonna be raised up 3 days later.
That's what she said. Yeah.
She basically said, "I want to be like Jesus," and she's like, "Yeah, I want to die on a cross."
Let me tell you something.
Really?
Yeah, how do you? She said many types of those.
She actually at nighttime sometimes she'll be like, I don't want to die, mommy, but I really, really want to go to heaven. But I want to go to heaven without dying. Like she'll say stuff like that. And it's so cute. I'm also like, oh, please don't be anxious about that.
The Lord's got a lot. He got a long life for you.
And like you're gonna be alive for a long time.
She's always asking to go to heaven. I'm like, girl, not yet. Like, come on.
Oh my goodness. Y'all have me crying at the end of this episode.
Got to get her to better help.
So,
Oh boy.
we gonna push it back to you so you can.
Oh yes. Okay. I was gonna end it. I was gonna say, do you guys have any like closing advice for dads or young men as well?
Don't bring up hell for a while. The only reason I did that was because we were talking about witnessing to people because he had to leave the house.
Yes.
And then she was like, why do we have to talk to people? That's why.
Yeah.
But to redo that question, advice, love your wife and don't be selfish, and pray that God would give you selflessness because they're going through a lot. When you have children, you realize like how much they do. Pregnancy is hard. Childbirth is hard. Raising children is hard. Being a stay-at-home mom is not easy. And just having patience and admiration for your wife through that process and caring for her and loving her as much as possible. That's just my advice. Do what God tells you to do and sacrifice yourself for her.
That's a good one.
I would say give yourself some grace, especially if you're having your first child. You're probably going to do something wrong. However, try to be there as much as possible for your wife. Talk about your failures and your successes all the time, right? And treat this as a journey, not as just like, kind of like this static, kind of weird relationship that you're having with your wife. Like, it's a journey. Y'all both are learning each other in a very new way. You're learning new things about yourself. You're learning new things about her. Obviously, you've seen it with all the stories. Like, everybody has such a different kind of experience and you learn so much with it. And so that's all part of the journey. So like, don't just treat this as kind of like, oh, I failed in this aspect. Yeah, you're going to fail, right? Don't learn from it. If you don't learn from it, that's when it gets worse, right? Learn from it, realize it's all part of the journey. It's all part of the story. Laugh about it, obviously probably not at that exact moment, but you can go back and laugh about it and be like, yeah, I was kind of stupid. I went and said, can I go surfing instead of while you're, you know what I mean? But like, now you're able to reflect and think about life instead of just like looking upon it with like deep regret, because that's no way to live.
And newborns are going to hand you some L's.
Yeah.
And they're pee on you.
Throw up in my mouth.
Oh, all right.
It happened.
Charlie, we're ending the
Pieces of it. I'm just saying.
There are pictures of it.
I'm reiterating what you're saying. Until someone's thrown up in your mouth, like, you don't know that that's even part of a journey. That could be part of a journey towards a fuller, more beautiful life.
Oh boy.
But yeah, I mean, I think every day, at least once a day, like, these are the days I'm going to be sitting around with my wife at 50, 60 years old thinking, like, remember when he had that bowl cut and he just, like, toddled around the house? And in the moment, like, today it was 100 degrees. I feel like you're swimming, just walking outside, and you're like, I mean, he's yelling, and you're like, Lord, just can't wait for them to be a little older, But you'll be saying that at every step if you're not careful, and then they're gone, and you don't realize that the newborn stage comes and goes, and the toddler stage comes and goes, and the little kid stage comes and goes, and this is the best it gets. Like, this is the best life gets as a man. Like, having your family and raising a young family is the pinnacle, like, and chief end of my life. I don't know what it's calling, but I know for many Christian men, like, if this is what the Lord set out for you, this is the best it gets. And it's because it's hard. So if you go into parenthood trying to avoid hard, you're going to be in for a shock. So just embracing the hard as part of the being united to Christ in significant ways of suffering. Like, it's real, sacrificial, and realizing, like, this is as best as it gets. Like, you were made for this. You were made to do this. And so embrace the suck and look for the glory in it.
You could put that on the t-shirt. Embrace the suck.
Embrace the suck. Yeah. Embrace it all. Embrace all of it. Soak it in. Because it's as good as it gets.
That was good. Well, I think we can close out because Charlie needs to play hockey. So.
Oh, it's just
like that.
Well, that was good.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Cool wrap.
Are you into episode?
Whatever.